Okay, so this video is about helping anybody who's doing a research project to take the citations that you're getting from either the Gale databases or the EBSCO host databases and clean them up a little bit so that you can use them on your works cited list. I know that it looks like this is aimed at College Prep 12. It's not. It can be used for any group that has been given that assignment to go in and clean up the database citations. So we have a handout that we want to help you out with. And so it's going to walk you through the process of the things that you need to look for. Gale does do a pretty good job of putting together those citations. Between myself and the librarians and the other teachers, we've sort of decided about 80% of the information that you get from the citation is good. But if you are looking to get an advanced grade and a high score, 80% isn't good enough. So they themselves admit that they are not experts in the area of making citations. And I want to show you where exactly they tell you that they're not as good as just copy and paste it straight off. So here we are in an article. And if I want to take that article and create a citation, I'm going to go up to the top here and you see that cite button right there with the quotation marks. If I hit that, then this screen pops up. The first thing we want to remind you of is that we're always going to use the most recent edition of MLA in our English classes. So this is the information that it gives you. It also has right here a disclaimer that most of you probably don't read unless you click on it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it for you right now. That disclaimer says, data elements have been formatted to meet the latest citation standards. These citations are not a replacement for the latest guidebooks or your instructor's requirements. Double check capitalization, dates, names, and make any necessary corrections. So that's basically what we're going to be doing here with the handout is we're going to walk you through how to find these things both in the Gale database and in the EBSCO host pieces. So you do know that it is okay for you to come in and copy and paste this into your own document. Move myself over here for a little bit. So I'm going to do that right now. It doesn't put the formatting in. We can deal with formatting later. Right now, we're really just trying to pay attention to the actual citation itself. So back on our handout for fixing it up, we did make sure that it was the MLA 9th edition because that's the current edition. But remember, it just needs to be the most recent edition of MLA 9 that we have. The first thing you're going to do is double check the capitalization of all titles. When we're looking at this, it did a pretty good job with the first portions of it, but then from here to the end, we can see that it sort of treats it like a sentence. So we're going to have to go through. We're going to have to know what it is that gets capitalized, what it is that doesn't. Those of you that have pocket style manuals, we're going to ask you to use that. If not, you can pay attention to what it is that your teacher is telling you to do. Basically, any word that is not a fanboy, like the word and here, or a preposition, like the word after here, or a, and, or the, as long as it doesn't start a sentence, they will pretty much all get capitalized. So I'm just going to move real quickly through this. If you have individual questions about whether words get capitalized or not, your teachers will be more than happy to help you. I'm almost done. Okay, so now our capitalization is okay there. We'll go back to the handout. Double check the dates to make sure that the dates are accurate because sometimes when they're pulling it over, it doesn't make sense. So this says that it came from September 12th of 2025. My date here is September 12, 2025, put into MLA format, so that's good. Next, double check that the name of the author is correct, especially in Gale. Sometimes their database does weird things and it'll tell you there's no author, and then later on you look at it and you can clearly see something called a byline. Here's where the byline is in Gale. Jane Bolden is the writer. And so when we look at our citation, they did get that right this time around. Sometimes they don't. You just have to pay attention to it. If you have more than one author, then you're going to need to check your pocket style manual or consult with your teacher to make sure that you know what you're doing there for 2 or possibly even more authors. If there are no page numbers that are listed, then you leave that blank at the end of the publication information container with a period after the year of the date in MLA format. So I'm going to go back here. There are no page numbers that it's giving, probably because Newsweek doesn't really, I think, get published in print form anymore. So I don't see any page numbers, so that's okay. Back to my handout. If there is a clear date of publication, then you don't need a date of access at the end of the citation. Here we have a date of access, but I don't need that because I have the date that that article was published, so I'm going to get rid of that. If the newspaper or magazine citation lists volume and issue numbers, then we need to delete them because the only pattern that should have volume and issue numbers is the journal article. Newsweek is a magazine. Magazines should not have volume and issue numbers, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that as well. So now all I have is the name of my magazine, the date, and there are no page numbers, so I don't have to worry about that. So my publication information is going to end right there with the period. The citation has to identify the specific database that is used. Gale actually does a pretty nice job with this information. The only thing that Gale doesn't do super well is they don't pay attention to capitalization with their prepositions. So you're going to want to change that to Gale in context, lowercase I for in opposing viewpoints. But that's really what it should look like. Your database name should always be italicized. The EBSCO host ones, they don't do that as well. And so we are going to have to monitor that when we go to take a look at the EBSCO host piece. Otherwise, we have the name of the database with a comma and then a live link to that afterwards. And we do want those links to be live. So you can go ahead and hit spacebar after that. It will turn it into a blue underlined link. That just means that it'll be super easy for myself or whoever your teacher is to jump into wherever you got this from the database so that we can have some time saving things as well. So you will need to do all the formatting. You'll need to do the hanging indent. That's not what this video is all about. This video is just about cleaning up the information from the citation publication. So now I'm going to take a look at EBSCO host. So I did a search in EBSCO. I've got a peer-reviewed academic journal here. I can click into that academic journal. I can also kind of just take a look at what I've got going on right here on the home page. I can see the name of the journal that it comes from. Right here, it tells me that it's an academic journal. I've got my date there. Journals need volume and issue number, so that's good. I do have a page range here, so that's important. And this right here is the name of the database that I got it from. As we scroll down and look at other articles, you can see that the database changes because we have, I think, 15 different ones that we're looking at once. So I do have to pay attention to which database am I looking at. This article comes from the Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection, and so does this one, right? But this one comes from MAS Complete. So get used to looking for the database there. When you grab the link for the citation, so I'm going to get into this one right now. Again, I've got some of the information that I need here. It is an academic journal. There's my title, there's my date, there's my name of it. Here's my database name in case you're confused there, Academic Search Elite. I'm going to go ahead and grab this citation. I want it to be an MLA, so I'm going to go down and grab the MLA one. And then just like when I'm in Gale, I can go ahead and copy, and then I'm going to paste it. For now, I'm just going to set it down here. That was a lucky guess because I really should have paid attention to the fact that B for Bolden comes before H for Horowitz, so that was pretty lucky on my part. But now I'm just going to go through and see whether or not I need to clean it up. Same things. Double check the capitalization of the titles. Lucky for me, it's a 2-word title, so that's working pretty good right now. Double check my dates. This one needs a little bit of work because it's telling me that it's September of 2025. But if I go back and I look at this particular piece, it really comes from fall of 2025, and most journal articles like to mention the season rather than the actual month. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to fall. I do have page numbers listed, so I'm going to leave those there. There is a clear date of publication. Notice that the EBSCO citation does not put a date of access at the end. That's a smart thing. You don't need a date of access because you know when this journal was published. It's not a newspaper or magazine. It is a journal article, so it needs to have the volume and issue number. So I'm definitely going to keep volume and issue number there because that's what I need for journals. And then EBSCO does not tell me the specific database. If you leave EBSCO host there, for sure in my class at least, you're going to get marked wrong. So right here is where we need to put down the specific database that we got it from. So it's telling me that I got it from Academic Search Elite. I know that Academic Search Elite is one of the databases that we have, so I'm going to go ahead and type that in. academic search complete. So if you try to tell me that it's EBSCO host, I'm going to tell you that you're wrong, because EBSCO is just a business that hosts a bunch of different databases. And so we need the name of the actual database so that we can drill down a little bit farther in finding that. It is connected, though, to the URL address. In this case, since I have a journal article, I've got a DOI number. Again, if you don't know what that is, you can ask your teachers. Sophomores, juniors doing research probably aren't going to be dealing with academic journals, but seniors probably will. So knowing where the DOI is and how to find it is a really good idea. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. So use this handout, use the video. You're cleaning up your citations. You'll worry about the formatting later, but we just want to make sure the information is correct with the right punctuation and order to it, and then you can do your page layout stuff later. If you have major questions, talk to your teachers. Good luck.